Okay, we're hitting the big number 5 here on Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, I'm recording both of these the same days. Don't know if I'm going to upload them today, probably tomorrow. But we got Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, suggested by Richard Powell 2011. Just like Richard Powell, you could inbox me for rivalries you would like me to cover, and I will also be giving them a personal grade. So check those out if you would like. I've done 4 already. This is lucky number 5. Not really lucky, just number 5. So the really first incident these two had was the current call incident. Yes, this was the whole clique, which was pretty much just backstage politics to the max. This was all Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, or 6-Pac, or 1-2-3 whatever you want to call him, and Triple H. Pretty much what the current call incident was when they all gathered up in the middle of the ring, and Shawn and Triple H were like, oh, we're going to miss you, because Razor Ramon and Diesel were out the door. So this actually buried Triple H for quite some time, and all that. But whatever. That's the end of the clique. You know, Triple H is building himself up in an Intercontinental Championship run, you know, having a couple bodyguards along the way, eventually ending to China, and getting China, build up to Rick Rude as the manager, and getting Rick Rude as the manager, build up to Shawn Michaels forming D-Generation X, which finally put him back together. DX had a long run for what it's worth. It was really formed about mid-1997. You had them versus the whole Canadian crowd of Bret Hart and Owen Hart, whatever you want to say, the Hart Foundation to the max, I don't know. And eventually Shawn Michaels, he just builds all the way up to 98, and he gets injured. He actually was injured at the 1998 Royal Rumble against Undertaker, but this is where he finally had his last match, Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold. Stone Cold wins the belt. I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe at this pay-per-view, Triple H was fighting Owen Hart for the European Championship. It sounds right. Don't hold me to that. I'm just gonna... I think it was versus Owen Hart for the European Championship. But again, don't hold me to that. Oh, boy. So, with Shawn Michaels injured, Triple H is finally building up. He finally gets that world title over time. He turns heel. A lot of stuff with Triple H from 98 to 2002. But finally, Shawn Michaels comes back. He's got that whole stupid NWO thing. It doesn't really matter. That was a fail. And eventually, they come to a one-night DX reunion. Triple H and Shawn Michaels are getting ready to do this. Suck it! Triple H turns, kicks Shawn Michaels in the guts, hit the pedigree. And that really caps off their first feud. You know, Triple H throws Shawn Michaels into the car windshield, and they have all this build-up all the way to SummerSlam 2002. And that very good, especially for Shawn Michaels not having a match in 4 years. Check that out. SummerSlam 2002, the unsanctioned street fight. Wow. Shawn Michaels actually wins the match, but ends with Triple H beating him down. With, at the time, Triple H was, in his own right, still one of the younger guys. More of his prime, actually. But it was the right decision, but at the same time, it wasn't. But either way, a very good match and very good moment. Unsanctioned street fight, SummerSlam 2002. Check it out, definitely. Very good match. You know, they got all this build-up. They don't really touch too much until Survivor Series 2002, where there was an Elimination Chamber for the World Heavyweight title. Over time, Triple H was awarded the World Heavyweight Championship since Brock Lesnar, with the WWE Championship, became exclusive to SmackDown. So, you know, he's got the World Heavyweight Championship now. He's the King of Raw. They come to the Elimination Chamber with Chris Jericho, Booker T, Rob Van Dam, Kane, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. Don't hold me to all those names, but I believe that's who was in it, shouting him out quick. So, what you got here pretty much was Shawn Michaels wins the world title. And, honestly, between now and all the way to 2011 when he finally retired, or 2010, I wish he would have held the belt one more time. Shawn Michaels, here, he wasn't the best champion in the world since he only had it for a month, but, God, he deserved it. He really did deserve it. Yeah, you could say, oh, he used to be an ass, but, God, for those final years, he made it up. He made stars. I'm just saying. He was a very good competitor. And not in his earlier years, but later in life, later in his wrestling career, he was a very good wrestler. And he was always a good wrestler, but he really wasn't too much selfish compared to how he used to be. But you finally get the Armageddon of 2002, where they had, I apologize, I've never seen this match. I knew about it, I've heard about it, I heard it was a pretty good match, but I never saw it, and I apologize for that. These two faced off in a 3 stages of hell match. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels. Triple H wins back the World Heavyweight Championship in this match. And again, I'll try to find it on YouTube or something if somebody wants me to give a little opinion of it. I've never seen it. And I'm sorry, it's a match I should have seen, but it just slipped away. One of those things. Or if I have seen, I don't remember. 2003, you had Shawn Michaels feuding with the likes of Chris Jericho. He touched with Randy Orton a couple times. But overall, between these two, I mean, they never really touched. Triple H dominated 2003 easily as the world champion. And not the good domination, the backstage politics domination. The only time Triple H really ever had a challenge was Goldberg. And even then, that was like 2 months. So, whatever. That's how it rolls, I guess. So 2003 was okay year for WWE. SmackDown was far better in 2002 than Raw was. Or 2003. Just saying. I say that a lot. Just saying. Just saying. But the next time these two finally touched was the Royal Rumble of 2004. You know, they brought in the older history of how Shawn Michaels never got that final executive revenge, which he never did. But these two go in the HBK versus Triple H last man standing match at the Royal Rumble 2004. A lot of people give this match shit. Well, they don't give a shit, but they don't really give it enough credit. Because, I mean, this match was actually really good, and just like when Rock and Mankind had a last man standing match, and they hit themselves both with chairs at the same time, and they both went to the 10 count, I don't think it was the exact same ending, but there was no winner here, and that's one of the things I love about wrestling. Sometimes if they do too much, it gets a little bland, but when they do use it at the right moment, it's a very good thing, and this, no exception. I love this part. These two, until Bad Blood, they never really had that final moment between the two. You know, these two build up all the way to WrestleMania 20, when this is one of, you can diss me, especially for who's in it, but this is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches ever. Seriously. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Child Killer himself, Chris Benoit. Or Chris Benoit, yes, at the time, he wasn't a child killer, so I was a huge fan of Chris Benoit. Till I figured out what's happened, I was a big Chris Benoit mark. I actually cried when I learned that Chris Benoit died and they had that whole Raw thing, because that's how much I was a fan of Chris Benoit. It was like heartbreak to me. But Chris Benoit finally had his moment in that very heart-touching segment with Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, I know Chris Benoit was a child killer, but if you watch that again, and you see that celebration with them just bawling their eyes out, Eddie and Benoit together, I'm sorry, but you'll cry then. I was crying now. Very heart-touching moment. I love that. One of the best wrestling moments ever. Now it's tainted and spoiled because of what Benoit did, and that's unfortunate. But they get a rematch at Backlash that doesn't matter. And by the rematch, I mean Triple Threat WrestleMania. That didn't matter. Benoit retains. Triple H tries to go through the world title. Fails. You know, they go all the way to the Bad Blood. Actually, before Triple H goes for the world title again, they get all the way to the Bad Blood. And these two face off the final time in a Hell in a Cell where God would prevail. Shocked you shouldn't be. So whatever. Triple H dominates in the end between these two. They never had another match that meant a whole lot. Or another match at all, if I can't remember. They had a DX reformation 2006-2007, where, you know, of course, Triple H got injured eventually. They had their last little count thing, I want to say 2009 to 2010. That was alright. They finally won the World Tag Team titles during that time. So, overall, as a rivalry, I gotta give it a A-. The reason I give it an A- is because they could have used 2003 to at least have a couple matches. They probably did, but nothing too serious. And Shawn Michaels, other than the first match these two had at SummerSlam in 2002, Shawn Michaels never had a huge victory. It's probably him not being a spoiled, selfish bitch like Triple H, to be quite honest, but at the same time, these two, I mean, Shawn Michaels never had that big victory, and that's unfortunate. That's why I have to give it an A- instead of a solid A, or even an A+. A- is the way I'm going. Comment below, give it your own rating, tell me what you liked about this feud, tell me what you didn't like about this feud. Of course, if you'd like to, you can subscribe up above, you can give this the old thumbs up, you can check out my other rivalries on my playlist. I have it as the Rivalry series. This is number 5. You can check out the first 4, all pretty good in my opinion, except for the first one. Just warning ahead if you decide to watch Andre versus Hogan. But, yeah, well, check it all out, and we'll talk to y'all later.